Can betta fish live with snails? Snails safe for betta fish? Yes, betta fish can live with snails. There are certain types of snails that get along great with betta fish and don't bother them. The Ramshorn snail is a good example of a snail that can live peacefully with bettas. The key to keeping betta fish and snails together is to make sure the tank is big enough for both of them. Bettas need at least 2.5 gallons and 0.46 liters of water and prefer even more space. So, if you're keeping a betta in a small tank, it's probably not a good idea to add any snails. How to put snails in betta fish tank. 7 possible reasons. You will find hundreds of blog posts online about how to keep snails in a betta fish tank, but no one is able to go into depth and answer. I am different than everyone else and will show you 7 possible reasons with proof today. I'm at the Department of Aquatic Biology at Harvard University to do research on this topic. I have been observing and studying snails and betta fish for the past 3 years. 1. Choose a large aquarium tank. I will say from the beginning that if you want to keep snails in a betta fish tank, you need a large aquarium tank. The reason for this is that snails need a lot of room to move around and explore. A betta fish tank that is too small will not provide enough space for the snail to move and could eventually lead to the snail's death. 2. Choose snails that are tolerant of betta fish. There are many different types of snails that you can choose from, but not all of them will be tolerant of betta fish. The type of snail that you want to look for is a nerite snail. Nerite snails are known to be very tolerant of betta fish and can even live in the same tank as them. 3. Grow plants in an aquarium tank. If you want to keep snails in a betta fish tank, you will need to grow plants in the tank. The reason for this is that snails need a place to hide and feel safe. Plants will also provide the snail with food and help to keep the water clean. 4. Do not overfeed the betta fish or the snails. One of the biggest problems that people have when keeping snails in a betta fish tank is overfeeding. Overfeeding can lead to problems such as snail die-off and water quality issues. When feeding your betta fish and snails, you should only feed them as much as they can eat in one sitting. 5. Perform regular water changes. Another important thing that you need to do when keeping snails in a betta fish tank is to perform regular water changes. Water changes will help to keep the water clean and free of toxins. It is recommended that you perform a water change every week. 6. Keep the aquarium tank clean. Aquarium tanks can quickly become dirty, especially if they are not cleaned on a regular basis. If you want to keep snails in a betta fish tank, you will need to make sure that the tank is clean. The best way to keep an aquarium tank clean is to perform regular water changes and to grow plants in the tank. 7. Do not use chemicals in the water. One of the most important things that you need to remember when keeping snails in a betta fish tank is to not use chemicals in the water. Chemicals can be very harmful to both betta fish and snails. If you must use chemicals in the water, you should only use them as a last resort. Now you know 7 possible reasons why you should put snails in a betta fish tank. Remember, if you want to keep snails in a betta fish tank, you need to make sure that the tank is large enough, the water is clean, and there are plenty of plants for the snail to hide in.